Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the End of Stigma podcast with me, Paul Garrigan from PACT Mantality, Jay from Don't Walk in Silence, and we've got the one and only big energy, Mark Onamission Cowell.
What up in the house, people? We live tonight.
Mark, how are we, brother?
Boss, brother. Made up to be here, to be honest, boys.
Thanks for coming on, mate.
That's right,
It's
mate.
about time, yeah.
Lovely to have you, mate.
Thanks for the invite.
Let's have a little check-in to start with. I like to always start with a little check-in, just see how everyone is, what's been going on the past week or so, and then we'll move on then into the podcast, brother, yeah?
Cool, yeah. Not a
Good
problem.
stuff.
I'm feeling it, man. It's good.
Yeah. What's been happening, Jay? How have we been, mate?
So I've been all right, mate, yeah. Yeah, been doing some of me, like, sort of own work, some, like, one-to-ones, and I've got a guided meditation coming up on Thursday at the Inner Guru.
Lovely.
And I've just wrote some inner child healing course up.
Yeah.
So I hope to get that out there as well.
Lovely, brother.
Yeah.
Lovely to hear. Mark, what's been going on, mate, the past week?
I've had a boss week this week. I've actually removed myself from the city, which has been nice.
Yeah.
Took a little holiday down to Shell Island, Black Rock Beach. Took all the kids, my mum, my dad, my partner, her daughter, my mum and dad's family friends, their niece, their nephews. So it was boss, you know. It's nice to just get out in nature and something that I pointed out as well this week, which is good, you know, given the weather that we've got. It hasn't been cracking the flags, but we went camping and it was windy, it was rainy, but we had a boss time.
Yeah.
It was like we just adapted to the outdoors, went on a few little waterfall missions, took the jet ski out, kicked the tunes out, barbecues under the gazebo. It was boss, mate.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've got to get away, mate, innit, from the city, stuff like that.
You need to. I found myself last year, I was doing trips to like the Lake District and that. I find going out for a good walk or a little spot of camping, even if it's a little wild camp for a night, especially when there's loads going on here in the city, you know, within all like the community stuff that we're doing and it's busy, do you know what I mean? Social media's active, the phone's just non-stop. That digital detox is power, man. It's like, and it's power for us as adults. And look, you only have to look at the kids, don't you? And
100%,
to get them away from their phones, it puts a smile on my face.
Yeah.
It puts
Lovely,
pain on
brother.
their face, but it makes me happy.
Lovely, brother. And I'm probably checking with myself, mate, that I've took a little step back this week, I think, from certain things, you know what I mean? I've had to like have a little bit of time to myself, like you say, and just recharge the batteries a little bit, you know what I mean? Because when you're doing a lot of help with other people, sometimes you just need a little bit of time to yourself. So yeah, I'm fully in with that one, boys.
But the more people you're with, the more energies, innit?
That's it, mate. And I feel like
all energy.
sometimes, it's all energy, mate, and it's, you know, it's all good. But I think sometimes it's nice as a man, certainly, to just retreat and have a little bit of time alone.
It's different energy sometimes, mate,
to collect your thoughts a little bit, you know.
And the thing is, we all recognise energy now, don't we?
Yeah.
I was saying to Jay on the way down here, it wasn't so long ago that I didn't even know what energies were.
Exactly.
Didn't understand frequencies, consciousness,
Yeah.
meditation. I knew nothing about it, but it's all a package, innit? You need to protect your energy.
Thought energy was in a Lucasade drink. That's it, innit?
It's sold on a shelf for 99p.
So Mark, obviously we know you've got a big following.
Yeah.
You know, you're really good at bringing people together. Your Instagram's fucking booming, mate, you know what I mean? You're a big energy in the city, to be honest, brother.
Yeah, it's good, man.
So obviously a lot of people probably don't know, mate. I'd like to delve into your story.
Yeah.
Obviously you was the man behind the mask. Where'd you come from, you know what I mean? But let's start where, you know, your earlier years in life.
Upbringing and that, mate,
Yeah.
Upbringing, so, you know, I was privileged as a youngster. Grew up in an unbelievable family. My mum was a nurse, my dad was in the police. Went to a good high school in Formby, went to good primary schools in Formby. But things started, and you know what? I had holidays when I was growing up, you know. Things started to change for me around the age of 15, 16. And I think it's an important year and it's an important number that we need to focus on. You know, doing the work that we do now, you know, moving forward later on, further down the line, looking at work to do with them age groups is going to be important for us all to do as a collective. Yeah. But for me, life took a turn at 15, 16 years old. And it was towards the end of high school. And I started looking up to older lads. You know, they had cars, nice watches, had little graphs on the street. Me being me. What's happening, lad? How are we? What's this? And all that. Just wanted to be in the mix of it. Just like, loved to party. Loved the party. It was like live for the party 24/7.
So, growing up though, mate, in your early years, say between 5 and 15, would you like, what type of people did you have around you? Was you just very family oriented?
Like I said,
Did you have many men around you?
I've got one sister.
Yeah.
Obviously, my dad, my mum,
Yeah.
and myself. So there was 4 of us in the house growing up. I never really had a close-knit family connection with any cousins or anything like that. They all live outside the city. So it was always us 4 in the house. We obviously had our friends in the street. Mm-hmm. It was a nice area. We'd be playing out on our bikes, playing footy, out in all weathers as well, by the way.
Yeah.
No matter what
That's how it was back then, no
matter what the weather, we were out climbing conker trees, running around the fields, up and down the sand dunes. Yeah, I lived right on the coast, do you know what I mean? At the beach on my doorstep. Something that I never actually fully appreciated up until the last 2 years. Didn't realise how powerful that was as a location, especially in this city as well. Yeah. And now obviously we're utilising it and bringing people to it.
It's mad how it's took you back there though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And it's been right there all along. Yeah. And when my struggles started happening, boom, that was the first place I went to. So I don't know whether that was some sort of attachment from being a young kid, spending a lot of time down there. Remember, we used to go down there and play war. We used to have like our little pretend pistols and machine guns, the plastic ones. You should get out the toy shop and them like pretending to shoot each other. I'd have a pair of white front bills over my head with a little fish there at the front, thinking I was one of them Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and that, you know what I mean?
So did you ever like
boss, mate? It was good.
Did you have like any elder men around you at that point? Because obviously this is it's a mental health podcast, really, isn't it? We're bringing awareness to men's mental health, and something that I find through a lot of the work I've done is when we're growing up, we lack male role models or healthy male role models, mate. So I'm just trying to get to like, what was there any healthy male role models you were looking up to, or was you looking up to the wrong type of men maybe?
My dad was a male role model for me, but like I said, when I hit 15, I'd always looked up to my dad growing up. He was always the dominant male in the house. He was always fair. And he brought me up unbelievable, as my mum did as well. He's the only male I'd ever had around me. But I think where it went wrong for me was actually leaving house at a young age. Towards the end of being 15, 16, really young it was, because I had my first child before I was 16. So I moved out the family home into a flat and had my own space. And at that age, 15, 16, you're not fully mature, and you're not on the ball. You don't know what life's about. And I was just off, just boom,
gone.
And once I was out of my parents' house, I was doing whatever I liked, and it wasn't like they were there to guide me or support me anymore or overlook what I was doing.
Yeah,
they had their work to carry on with and their work they had going on, and I was just doing whatever I wanted. I'd moved out of the area. I'd moved down to Bootle and had a flat there. I started going to college at Hugh Bird, learning bricklaying. So I started mixing with other kids who were from where I initially grew up, in Formby.
Yeah.
I started hanging around with different kids from different areas, a lot more streetwise kids.
Yeah.
And for me, that's where I started delving into, at the time, moving drugs and partying and getting up to mischief, do you know what I mean? All daft stuff, like.
Yeah.
I was never one of them who was like some of the characters, in the city or in the country or the world. I was just, in my eyes, just a normal street lad who was just cracking on trying to earn a few quid. Yeah. I had financial pressures at that age, having kids at a young age. By the time I was 26, I'll get it in now, I had 6 kids. So I had a child at 15, a child at 17, a child at 19, and then I had 3 kids in the space of 3 years. So there was 6 children that I had to provide for.
Yeah.
By the time I was 26 years old. So for me, I depended on drugs. I depended on like another income, because I'd been and done a bricklaying apprenticeship in which I'd done day release from college, and I was only earning £100 a week for 4 days work. And like I was earning £100 a week for 4 days work. I had a flat to pay for, a car to pay for. had to look after the baby, had to clothe myself, feed myself. You know, it's like it's a sticky situation.
It is, mate, yeah.
And
It's a tough situation, mate, because essentially you're a kid. You're still a kid at 16.
Yeah,
you very much are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're seeking, you know, we speak about it quite a bit, mate, but at that age, we're seeking like initiation by older men, so we're attracted to danger, mate, because we're seeking to be accepted by other men, so you go searching for your tribe, you know what I mean? And you sometimes we go searching in the wrong way, and especially in this city, you know, I think all of us can vouch for the fact that at that age, 16, 17, very important age, we're latching onto the wrong people. We think that it's all about the money, the cars, the drugs, you know, which is all well and good, mate, if that's what you want to do, but it doesn't help your mental health.
No, it doesn't.
You know what I mean? It doesn't help your well-being, mate, and we end up looking in the wrong places for it, don't we, Jay?
Yeah, we do, mate. And when we're stuck in that moment, like Mark said, when your outcome is obviously trying to provide for the kids and put a roof over your head, is that you get lost in that sort of intention, don't you? Because that was your intention. You had to go and do those things to make sure that, one, you've got a roof over your head, that you've got a roof over the baby's head, that you've got those things. Because if you didn't have those things, how would you survive?
Yeah.
Do you get me?
It was a big factor, but at the same time, I did still try and put myself onto a career path.
Yeah.
Now, I delved with both, do you know what I mean? I had like a legitimate job, and I also had the income of an illegal income through drugs. And what happened to me was I started earning that much money off drugs that easy. I was going to work 40 hours a week, and it got in my head I couldn't justify the legitimate work.
Yeah.
So that then affected me legitimate work, which I ended up just totally jibbing off and just thought, I'll do what I want when I want, and I'm just going to crack on. But with that mentality and with that lifestyle, you know, with the people that you're around and the situations you find yourself in, and the weekend scenario for me was a big one. You know, I was always out partying, I was always out drinking.
Is this from the age of 16? It just went on from there.
From
you
the
know,
age of 16, mate, yeah.
We're sold a dream to go out drinking, drugs, girls, partying, aren't we? You know what I mean?
When you can go out at the age of 16, 17, 18 and start buying, like, I think it was like Hugo Boss was back in then and stuff like that. You can buy like £500 or £600 coats and just walk into flannels and get a Boss pair of trainers and get some Giuseppe's and Otties and all that, 500 quid a pop, whatever. Do you know, all that, what I class now bullshit.
Yeah.
All that materialistic stuff. At the time, like, I was so ego-driven. Do you know what I mean? It was like I was always wanted to impress someone or be the coolest man in the room. Do you know what I mean? And like you sort of get lost of that reputation. I want to have a reputation. I want to be looked at the way that these other kids are looked at. Yeah. I was never ever going to be looked at like these other kids.
Seeking to be seen and heard by, you know what I mean? And whether that's good or bad at the time when we're at that age, mate, we just seek to be accepted.
Yeah.
Whether it's good or bad, mate, you know what I mean? And certainly for me as well, I probably went down similar roads, mate, where you're just doing these daft things of taking drugs, partying, you know. Don't get me wrong, mate, some of the nights out were fucking great. You know what I mean? But mate, you're paying the consequences, and you're having a young kid. You've got responsibilities put on your shoulders, mate, at a very young age, and you're probably a bit of a wounded boy at that age, mate, because you've got all this pressure on you, haven't you, that you're having to live up to. And being a young dad, mate, is super hard. I wasn't a good dad. I knew I wasn't a good dad, but at the same time, I was never ready to be a dad. Yeah.
And, you know, the pregnancies that my partner got at the time, there was big issues with it. You know, pregnancies were kept from me, and I wouldn't find out like that she was pregnant till really far down the line. And it was sort of like I never had a choice. It was too far gone to ever even think about terminating the pregnancy. And for me, that happened like numerous times. Do you know what I mean? There was a lot of trust issues between me and my partner at the time. A lot of it was based around like things being hidden from each other, not just on her behalf, but on mine as well. You know, I wasn't loyal. And my responsibilities and my intentions and my best intentions weren't focused on being a dad or bringing my children up or being a good partner. It was all focused on going out, earning a few quid, grabbing a few birds, having a good time, cracking people up, and coming home and just that was my
Like
satisfaction.
living for the weekend.
Living for the weekend,
And then Monday morning it's the same shit, different day scenario. Then
it went on for years, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
you fall into this
cycle went on for years and years, and the only thing that broke that cycle for me after years and years of it was my mental health breakdown, and that was literally my body and my mind just saying to me, "You mad? You can't do this anymore." Boom.
Yeah.
Take that.
Sometimes it takes that, mate. Sometimes it takes for us to this, and a lot of people that do have these sort of awakenings, if you like, or wake up to themselves, mental breakdowns. You can call it, but it takes us to hit rock bottom.
They are awakenings, mate.
Yeah. So we really wake up to what the fuck? How am I living? What's going on? And we really then have a look in the mirror, don't we?
Yeah.
We really then have a look in the mirror, mate. But so we've gone to you're 18, 19, 20. The same things were carrying on, were they? This behaviour was carrying on.
This behaviour carried on right the way through my teens. I got to a point where I was working on Seaforth terminal where the cargo ships come in.
Yeah.
And they were getting all the new cranes put in, the big red ones. You'll see them in the city if you're going down the front. Well, I was working on that contract for a company called Bam Nuttall. And at this time, after I'd done my initial bricklaying course as a teenager, the recession kicked in. So I went into a new trade, which was welding. So I went to Kirby to do all my welding qualifications. So I become a time-served welder. Served a lot of time in Bootle. But this contract started down on the docks. And it was a brilliant job, to be honest. It was when I look back, it was a boss job. There was loads of lads on there. We had a good crack. It was on my doorstep. I was earning good money. It was easy. It was like, get up, go to work, earn some good dough, go home, your family's here. And I just got to a point on that job when it was coming to the end, and I was like, I've been having issues within the relationship where I was sort of splitting up with her all the time, and she wouldn't let me see the kids, and it was like a constant day-to-day battle. It was just all negative, and it was getting me down, do you know what I mean? Maybe I wasn't doing enough as a father to make sure that my children were in the best interest. Maybe she did feel like she was protecting the children by not letting them see me. Whatever the situation was at the time, it was toxic.
Yeah.
It was very, very toxic. And I literally just went home one day and just packed my bags and I went, fuck this, mate, I'm off. And just bounced to Ibiza. And when I just went straight into the middle of it. And I just cracked on in Ibiza, doing what I was doing in the UK, partying, selling drugs, mixing with other people, just thinking I was living the high life, sandy beaches, sunshine, women. Then I went over to Barcelona. Then I come back home. Then I went to Dubai. Then I come home from Dubai. It was just like, I don't know what I was chasing for all this time. It was just, I wasn't happy here. I wasn't happy there. I was coming back to try and be happy here. So I go back there. It was...
So you're trying to chase this happiness that when you get there, mate, it's never there, is it? Because
it's there.
It's already in you, but you're chasing it outside, aren't you?
Yeah, I was just lost in that crazy cycle.
Yeah, you get sucked in, mate, don't you?
Sucked in, I was very sucked into that lifestyle. And now I'm at where I am now, mentally, and my awareness to life and things I appreciate and things I value and things I look back at. It'd be good if there's a way that we can make these younger lads in society now realise how important the basics are.
Yeah.
Let's not look at chasing these big pay packets through drugs and watches and cars and houses.
I think that's a societal problem, no, Mark.
Is,
I think certainly for me, mate, I'm going to go back to it because it's definitely something that we lack in the West, you know what I mean, is male initiation.
Yeah.
Is men of 15, 16, 17, 18, they need to be around men who they look up to and who they aspire to be like. And in this city, very much, we've got young lads, 15, 16, 17, they're on the streets. They're seeing lads going around, boss cars, boss watches, selling drugs, whatever they're doing, and they're seeking that.
Yeah.
Because that's what they think is their normal, mate, to be accepted and to be seen as, to be seen as a man.
Yeah.
Now, if we can get these young men, me and you spoke about it in the past, I spoke to you about it, Jay, as well, as if we can sort of create something where we're getting these young men in and we're putting them around the likes of us, we're putting them around, the likes of Martin Bone, the Mark Scannell, the Luke Powells, we're putting them all around these men who are doing great things in the city, as well as us. You've got Kev Deves, you know what I mean? You've got Dana Guru. There's a lot of men stepping up right now, mate. I feel in this city there's an awakening happening. And if we can get these young men around the right men, then we'll change the city. And that'll essentially have the ripple effect, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
it's good. Go on, sorry.
I think to do that, mate, though, just people like us who've got to get out at street level.
Yeah.
We've got I think there's no other thing but to do that.
Yeah.
Got to get out and you've got to speak to these like 15, 16
You need to get to them, yeah.
Got to get to them, mate, because if you don't get to them, there's those people who are flying around in the flash cars, who are, you know, flying around in the designer gear, who are having that impression on those kids.
Yeah.
So we need to get out there at street level and say, well, that's not the be all and end all of life. It's not.
Not when you get nicked now and proceeds of crime are coming for these kids and
Mate,
like
I know,
these
see,
kids
are getting swiped by the plod and they're getting like everything took off them and they're going to be getting banged up for heavy stretches and they lose everything.
Yeah.
but and it's also
Our freedom is priceless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
and it just doesn't stop at them, Mark. It goes deeper. It goes to family. I've seen it happen myself with my own family.
Yeah, you had a tough time, didn't you?
It goes to like it goes down to your mum and dad, and you see that happening, mate. And and they're not criminals, but it impacts on your mum and dad, your other siblings. It's heavy, mate, and it needs to stop, because how far does it go? It ended where my mum and dad lost their family home. You know, I drive past that home now and I've got no attachment to it. Got no the way you drive past a family home, you've got a little bit of love, or you've got memories. I can't think of one memory that attaches me to that house anymore because of all that went on.
Chaos, negative.
Just chaos, mate. Chaos, and it was never a chaos that was on me.
Yeah.
It was a chaos that I absorbed.
Yeah.
Because it was an energy.
But these young men don't know how to harness their energies, mate. They don't know how to harness. You know, we spoke about it before. We didn't know what energy was, so we've got an energy within us. You know, you can call it your anger, your power, your warrior, whatever you've got. You know, we've got a load of, you know, overactive warrior energy in this city, going around trying to prove a point to each other.
Yeah.
And you know, when that energy, mate, is out of balance, it will kill people, mate. And we, you know, as humans beings, mate, you know, everyone's got that in the nature. It's not right or wrong, you know what I mean? It's within everyone, but it's in control, isn't it? Now these young kids, mate, are completely out of control and they're going around doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
But they lack role models, mate. They lack leadership, and they're actually seeking it, mate. They're seeking it. They want it, but this city and society, mate, is not delivering it. You know what I mean? Now we've got a great organisation that we've had on the podcast before, Alan Walsh, and we does something called No More Knives.
Yeah.
Now they run a campaign in Alder Hay that they look after lads who've come in, you know, stab victims and stuff like that. Now that's something they're integrating their work along with mine. So that's going to be coming up in the future, mate. But, you know, I've spoke about it before. I'd love to get these young kids, you know, let's get them away. Let's get them away from the city for a bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's take them away for a weekend and you know, and let's, you know, we're talking about retreats. Like let's get something set up.
Get them up mountains.
Yeah. Let's get them out there in nature.
Fun,
100%.
You know what I mean?
One of the things that Alan said, though, when we done the podcast with Alan, was that 99% of the people that he deals with, perpetrator and victim, have got mental health problems.
Yeah.
That's heavy. That's
worrying.
Fucking heavy.
Therefore.
Do you know what I mean? So that's alarm bells in itself that we need to do something.
Absolutely.
It is happening now. There is change coming.
There's change happening, mate. Absolutely.
There's change happening.
Yeah.
And I know it's a touchy subject, but I think this whole predicament that we're all facing on a global level now, with regards to the issue with the C word.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I think that actually this predicament has actually woke a lot of people up.
100%.
Because it's made a lot of people take a step back and go, wow, what's going on? And like a lot of people have looked at themselves, and a lot of these movements have started within cities, especially Liverpool. Liverpool is just vibrant high with like certain movements, especially with the conscious aspect and the need to help and the need to improve the community.
Yeah.
Just from like people doing stuff off their own back. Each one of us, or other people who are out there in the city doing amazing things. It's brought that many people together now, that situation. There's actually a really positive thing to come out of it all.
Yeah.
You know, there's a massive negative aspect attached to that, and I get it. There's a lot of people fighting the fight because they don't believe in everything that's coming across the mainstream and all that. That's cool. They're fighting it on a negative aspect, though. What we're trying to do now, and I've been on both sides, is trying to create a positive aspect
Major relationships have been formed, mate.
Raised a vibration. Well, we've all met each other through this.
Yeah.
And I've met everyone else, like a lot of new people in my life now. I've met all through this situation. I've got to be grateful for that.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a lot of people who are still attached to the negative aspect out there fighting for freedom and stuff, who haven't quite realised yet because they're so sucked into it. They're against the system. They're against the rules and the regulations. Yeah. Every aspect of it, they're against it. I am myself, but I feel like there's more difference to be made by, as a collective, doing positive stuff.
Yeah.
Collectively. Not running around screaming and shouting. No.
Having a ripple effect, mate. You know what I mean? Because it's made everyone have a good look in the mirror, hasn't it?
There's people coming.
COVID has, hasn't it? And the fact of the community that's brought together, mate, and through you as well, what you're doing, it's fucking unbelievable.
But this movement that I started on the beach is bringing people from all over the country, up north, down right the way up north,
yeah, mate, definitely.
Right the way down south, coast to coast. People messaging me, you know, day in, day out. Like there's a lot of people from Manchester coming here now on a weekly basis. There's like a little Manchester community coming to Liverpool. Yeah. When I was growing up, it was like Scousers against Manx, because of football.
Yeah.
I look at stuff like that and I'm like, you all hate each other because of a game of footy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I disattached myself from that ages ago.
Yeah, I still want to beat them, like.
Yeah, still want to. Of course, you want to beat them. Of course, you want to beat them within the sport.
Yeah, of course,
but like
mate.
when it comes to human, let's help each other. Do you know what I mean?
But again, that's a society-driven thing, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
The football's a society-driven
thing, mate. Yeah. And you know what? We're actually born to be in community, mate. We're born to connect with other people.
Yeah.
And we're disconnected. We're very disconnected from other people, and that's not in our nature. And that's why we're having a lot of people having these, you know, mental breakdowns or, you know, awakenings because they're alone. A lot of people are alone and lonely at this time, mate. So I think the community work, mate, that you're doing, you know, community is common unity. Yeah. We've all got a common effort to make the vibration higher within this city. You know what I mean? And it's certainly something that's happening, brother.
Definitely.
You know, and we're all playing our part. So it's really special to see, isn't it?
It is, mate. Yeah.
And it's having an impact. I put a post out on the platform today, relating back to that beach, the beach community, which started on the 11th of June. The 11th of June. It was 7 months, or 6 or 7 months after I'd kept my head down from doing anything positive in the city, because I was wrapped up in fighting a fight with the people against everything that was going on, and I was getting involved in protests and all other movements up and down the country, which put me back in depression. That negative energy, that negative vibration around people who were just angry every day. Everything I was reading, everything I was speaking was like low vibrational, heavy, negative energy.
And you're attaching yourself to it, aren't you?
Attach myself to it because I believe in, I've got my beliefs and I stand by it. And I felt like at that time, I needed to be out there doing what I was doing. Yeah. But it got to the point where the energy wouldn't let me carry on doing that. It went smack and just hit me in the face. And I was like, I ended up depressed again.
Yeah.
And I stayed off the radar. Hated society, mate. This is only a couple of months ago. Hated society. Yeah. Hated the people, hated community, hated life. I went back to where I was at, 2 years ago. I was like, I don't even want to be here.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where one day I went, I need to do something. I need to do something good. I'm sick of this shit. I need to do something good, something positive. And I just went, let's do a sunset on the beach. And I just put it on the platform. And it turned up. I think yourself was there. Carly was there. There was loads of fresh faces who I hadn't been around much last year when I started doing the litter picking and all that. But off that platform introduction for that sunset, when it turned up, there was about 150, 200 people there. And I just went, wow. I went, that's mad. That's like, and that one thing for me was a ripple effect to carry that movement on. Yeah. And like, it went from having that many people there on the 11th of June to the 15th of August, 600, 700 people. And I put a comparison poster on. But if you look at that on a grand scale of things, on a monthly basis, I reckon there's easy over 2,000 people a month coming to that beach.
Yeah.
And in my eyes, and I know firsthand because people reach out every day and say how much it's helping them, and people tell me their issues which are confidential. I don't talk about it with people.
Yeah.
That's for me and them to discuss, and some of that can get heavy.
Yeah.
Because some people do lean on you for like, and they want you to help them and fix their problems, which we can't do, but we can guide them and we can support them and give them advice. But look, it's unbelievable. And we've got a team of us now, haven't we? PACT Mentality's there, Women's PACT, Don't Walk in Silence, The Inner Guru, Kev, Jay Welby, Tasha's there, Divine Beauty Health and Well. Like, there's a proper little squad of us.
There's people stepping up, mate.
Stepping
you know
up,
what I mean?
mate, to get involved. And like, when I started that, right, it was like, I knew it was going to go big after that first event. But I didn't just want to keep all that for me, you know, like the On a Mission platform, that Awaken Souls platform. I always knew that would grow, and I wanted to bring other people in the city into that, into that movement, into that environment, give them that space, because I can only help people and give people advice on so many things and put my energy in and, like, you know, bring the positive aspect. But you know so much more about your specialities. You know more about your specialities. Kev, everyone, Lewis, your missus. Put them all together in one big pot, mate.
It's a positive suit, mate, isn't it?
You're unstoppable. Do you know what I mean? And for me, that was the mission. That's the mission, and it's mission accomplished. 2021 for me, with that community alone, is just like that saved me. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was falling into a dark place coming off the back end of 2020.
So take us from there then, mate, because we're talking about obviously when you were in a dark place. Let's take it back to your 20s then, and let's get to the point where your mental health really was struggling, where you really started to look at yourself and think something's not quite right here, you know what I mean? Let's discuss that journey from your 20s into that place, into that dark place, and then let's lead into let's lean into how you come out of it. Okay,
so I've been flying in and out of the UK, going to different places, like I mentioned before, and it was all about the party. I was having met loads of issues with my partner or my ex-partner at the time, the mother of my kids. And I wasn't allowed to see my kids. They were always kept away from me. And I was resorting to the party lifestyle, being involved in like certain gangs and street affiliations, do you know what I mean? I'd always sort of been a lone ranger, me, but I had like mates who were all up to all sorts with all other people. And when I started trying to get myself away from that, I started getting into like acting and that. I thought, I need a hobby, mate. I need something that I can do that's going to like take me focus and get me involved, because I'd stopped playing footy and that at this time. And I started going to an acting school in Liverpool called ACT Up North. And like, I just took to it. I loved it. I started learning about like emotional input and that, and like playing different characters and learning to write scripts and read scripts. And we were standing up and acting out different scenes, and it was boss, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, for me and my personality and like who I was, it was perfect for me to go into that sort of thing at the time. And I ended up doing like some music videos, like doing like extra work for Channel 4. Then I went to do the Peaky Blinders promotional video for the venues and that, which ended up getting like 30 million streams online. It was boss, you know what I mean? It was bouncing around town with all the Peaky Blinders on horses and all that, kicking boozer doors. It was boss, you know what I mean? It was good. It was different. But I actually got that attached to it. I moved to London and I thought, this is me. I'm off, do you know what I mean? This is my way out. Yeah. And I packed my car up and I got myself a flat in Marylebone in London. And I auditioned for one of London's top drama schools. Identity, it was called Identity School of Dramas. It was like an Oscar-winning performing arts school. And I went and done a 4-hour audition there. And like at the end, the woman come over, she went, "Where are you from?" I was like, "Liverpool." She went, "Unbelievable," and all that. And I was like, "Yes." Anyway, he gets this email, and the email was like, "Well done, you've been granted a place at the school. Your start times are going to be Mondays and Wednesdays, 11 till 3. And I was thinking, fucking hell, 11 till 3. I was like, how am I going to live? I was like, How am I going to get a job and go and get a job and go, all right, mate, any chance of a job, but I need Mondays and Wednesdays off 11 till 3. I know what employers are like. You know, it's 8 till 5, 9 till 5, 10 till 6, whatever. There's no way I was going to get a job. So I tried to get on the Ubers in London, and I couldn't because I'd been banned within a certain amount of time. I'd just scraping the barrel, so I was like, oh, this isn't looking good. So I ended up just marching around London, going on all these construction sites because I had my welding certificate. And just being me, jumping on the sites, talking to project managers and like engineers and all that. I managed to cop for 2 big welding contracts on my own in London. Lango Rock and Multiplex. Welding contracts for these massive like skyscrapers and that. And I was like, what's going on here? Like, this is just taking me away from that and putting me back into that. But I had no choice. So I ended up taking the welding contracts. Again, I was earning good money, but I was away from my family, away from my kids, away from my friends. I'd isolated myself.
And how was that for you?
Well, I get to it now. So at this point in my life, I'd never really suffered from any anxieties or depressions and all that. I'd suffered come downs and stuff from partying and like that depression effect, the next day, I feel like shit and all that. But I'd never suffered from like any major anxieties or anything. But when I was in London, I started suffering like this anxiety just come from nowhere. And I was like, wow, what the fuck is going on here? I didn't want to like walk into canteens or leave me flat or like walk down the street. I was always like, had me hood up. I joined the gym. I didn't want to go to the gym. I didn't want to see people. I was like, and I started drinking and the drinking numbed me anxiety. I was drinking a litre of vodka a day, a night, sorry. I was getting to work and coming back, and then on my way home every day, I was like, I need the vodka. I'd get a litre of vodka, 2 bottles of tonic water, 4 glasses of, I'd do the full bottle in, boom, boom, boom. And that was it. Like, my anxiety situation went, and that lasted for 3 weeks. And I changed from Smirnoff vodka to this Polish vodka in a crazy bottle. You might know what I mean. It's like a mad little bottle. It's not like a normal shaped bottle, but it's Polish anyway. And I took this Polish vodka one night and just snapped out, flipped, went suicidal, phoned me mad and that. I was wanted to slit my wrist. I ended up with paramedics and police coming through my door. They locked me in a room in this hospital in London. And they were like, you're not leaving, do you know what I mean? Like, you're not safe to leave. And they were looking at sectioning me into this place in London called the St. John's Unit.
I know me, yeah.
And I started reading like all reports on it and all that. And I was like, fuck that, I'm not going there, mate. No way. Sounds like a crazy gaff. Yeah. I don't need to be around that shit, you know what I mean? There was all like people putting reports on about like some of the nurses and like the situations that had happened. I was in the Aussie going, I can't go there. And my mum was being a nurse all of her life. So she come down to the hospital from Liverpool and she sat with the consultants and that and went, look, it's my responsibility. I'm a medical professional, being in the industry for so long. I'm going to be his carer 24/7. I'm going to take him back. I'm going to take him to his apartment now, get all his stuff. He's coming back to Liverpool and he's coming back to my home 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm going to look after him, make sure he's all right. So, you know, after a little bit of negotiation and that, the consultants were like, okay, fair enough. You know, your mum's gonna look after you and take you back home and that. And then when I went back home, I didn't leave the house for months. And this is where like the mental health breakdown for me started happening. It kicked off in London. Then I was back in Liverpool. I was in my mum and dad's house. And I started suffering like severe depression where I was like waking up crying. I'd just be walking around the house, I'd just start crying. I'd walk out the house, I'd want to go and like, I'd go and stand on the railway station bridges and that. And I'd be like, I wanted to kill myself, but I didn't kill myself because I'd always think of my kids.
At this point, mate, I just seeked any other, apart from in London, when you obviously went to the medical hospital. Had you ever been to, have you ever seeked help from your doctor or anyone else at that point? I
went to doctors and they told me they prescribed tablets, but I refused to take them I had a mate around me at the time and he was like, don't take them, Mark. You've got an addictive personality. That's not the answer. Like, them tablets aren't for you, mate. And I listened to him. And even my mum and my dad was like, you need to take them. Like, look at your son, do you know what I mean? And I was like, I'm not having them. Like, I'm not having them, do you know what I mean? I had it in my head. I was like, I'm not having them. Like, I didn't know where I was going to go or how I was going to fix my situation. But after like a couple of suicidal episodes and like getting me kids and me flashbacks of me kids and all that, I took myself down the beach. And that's when I started like sitting on the beach and I'd just sit on the top of sand dunes crying my eyes out, and then I'd just watch the sunsets. You know, the sunsets would go down, I'd just sit there and then I'd just take my music down with my little Bluetooth speaker and just mind my own business. And I started going from Hightown Beach down to Formby Beach. And then I started bumping into like the cosmic scousers, you know, like the like little hippies and that on the beach. And that's when they started talking to me about like consciousness and, you know, the universe and energies, and I was like proper intrigued by it all, you know, all this anxiety and this depression. And a girl said to me, I can't remember her name, but this girl mentioned to me about mushrooms, and she was like, you know, magic mushrooms can fix all that depression and all that, you know, you should try them. So I was like, go ahead, get me some of them, do you know what I mean? I thought, if it's going to get me out of this hole, mate, like, I'm game.
Yeah.
I'd heard about mushrooms and truffles growing up when I'd been to Amsterdam and all that, in and out of there and like whatnot. But for me, at that time, I was just a bad cokehead, you know, like, and people always used to say, oh, you can have bad trips on mushrooms, you know, the fucking this, that, and I'd heard mad stories about them and people ending up in the rivers and the canals and all that. I was like, fuck, that'd be me, you know what I mean? I'm not having them, mate. See me floating down there one night like that off me cake. So I'd stayed away from them, but with this mental health issue that I was going through, like the rock bottom stage and meeting these people on the beach, it was dead natural. It was like they were sitting around campfires on the beach watching sunsets and then just admiring the stars in the sky, you know, like looking at the moon and the stars and all that were just on me back.
So there was like a special like sacredness to what you were doing.
Everything that, like, just me going that beach and the journey that couple of weeks took me into and all the things I started recognising and getting attached to with nature.
Yeah.
And then I'd done 3.5 grams of mushrooms, and I'm not joking, it was an experience. Like, I enjoyed it. It was good. I took it for medical purposes, but during that experience, I just floated around the sand dunes with me music on my back, looking at the birds, looking at the grass, looking at the sky, just like.
So how far in was you? You know, because you're talking like I've done a lot of research on them, mate, and you know, 3.5 grams quite a bit.
Yeah. For the first time,
absolutely quite a bit, mate.
First time,
you're in trippy.
Tripping,
you know,
no, serious.
You're in a big trip journey there.
I was tripping me box off, right? But the next day and the moving forward after this, it probably lasted about 4 hours, something like that, 4.5 hours. It was an experience that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
It was an experience that I enjoyed. And for the reasons I actually took them, I enjoyed it even more because I thought I'm taking this for the benefit of me mental health. I was like, and I had no anxiety, no depression, no PTSD. I'll touch on the PTSD in a minute because I haven't mentioned that.
Okay.
My anxiety, me depression, my suicidal thoughts went, mate. I woke up, and from that day when I had the mushrooms and all the surroundings and attachments to nature I had, my very first thing that I wanted to do was start bringing people to the beach who were suffering. It was like, I felt fucking amazing.
Yeah, you were called to do that.
For the next week.
Yeah.
The week after that, I was like, where's this anxiety in that? Like, boom, I've just like someone to switch the light switch off and gone, that's not for you, that life, lad. This is for you. And you're going a different way now. And it was the mushroom that done it, mate. And like, I'm not going to like start going out there and like telling people to take mushrooms and all that. That's not for me to do. But if people ask me what helped me, I'm going to tell people what helped me.
Yeah, because that's your journey.
Because that's my journey, and that's what works for me. And everyone's got an opinion on substances and whatever, and everyone's entitled to an opinion.
Absolutely.
But if it works for you and it helps you, try it. If it doesn't work for you, don't try it again.
exactly.
You know, and if it's done, I didn't do it under the correct circumstances with regards to like, you can do these practices around people who are very highly trained and facilitators.
Which if I was ever to do it, mate, I would do it. I would go down that route for the reason being is a safety reason. You know what I mean? For me personally. No, I'm not. You know, but I'm not begrudging anyone even trying that, mate. I do think there's such a healing benefit to them. It's clear to see they absolutely expand people's consciousness. They wake people up. They do help with mental health. I mean, they're in phase 3 clinical trials in America.
Yeah,
they're legal in some states. You know, it's undoubtedly, mate, that they help your mental health. It's an absolute certainty. And we're in a system right now that is failing mental health massively. You went to the doctors, like you say, as soon as you walked in, they're throwing tablets at you, mate. Now, tablets can stabilise you to an extent, but you don't want to be on them for the rest of your life. So you need to deal with the root as to why maybe you're having these problems, and the doctors and the system isn't set up in that way. Maybe there isn't the funds there. I don't know, Jay.
It can get heavy, all that. I'm not gonna bend into all that side of things with my opinion, because it can get heavy, and I know a lot of the stuff and a lot of the knowledge that I've got with regards to them pharmaceutical companies. And
well, it's all for the it's all an agenda to suit them, mate. You know, we don't have to go into it, but it is an agenda to suit them, and it pays them, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think like I've said before. Sorry, mate, but I think like I've said before is that the only reason why the GP is not prescribing meditation as a treatment is because it costs nothing, and anyone can do it.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
Why do you think?
And the breath,
mushrooms
free.
Are a class A drug, mate? When they grow out the ground and they've got so many beneficial properties to them.
Mm-hmm.
Because they expand your consciousness and they open your pineal gland, they make you more perception to life.
What they are, mate, plant medicine.
Like, look, they open your mind, lad.
Yeah, they were banned in the 70s, weren't they? That's when they got banned, or like, the likes of the LSD, the psilocybin, the DMTs, whatever, all these psychedelics got banned in the 1970s in America because they were studying them on soldiers to try and control the brain, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And there was a professor called Stanislav Grof who was doing the tests on them, mate, and he then had to... This is where the breathwork comes into it, by the way. He then had to try and induce a psychedelic-like state or an altered state of consciousness without any drugs or psychedelics. So he then discovered holotropic breathwork. Yeah. That's where that was founded, through there. So, yeah. Thought I'd share that interesting point, mate.
That's good. It's good. It's good, and it's all knowledge, because, there's only a certain amount of us who are out there in society talking about it. Yeah. A lot of people are not aware of it, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people need to be aware of these things. Yeah. There's a lot of people who are suffering out there that don't even know any way out. I don't even know how I got to that being where I am right now, but I'm here. And, I can reflect on my journey, and I can only say that I'm guided here, mate. Mm. And that's what I believe. Yeah. Because the very process that I've gone through with that whole beach scenario and that healing process, and me delving into the psychedelics and expanding my consciousness and becoming more aware about breathwork and meditation and mindfulness and, being awake, and how much of a difference it can make to anyone who's suffering from any adversity. It doesn't just have to be anxiety or depression. It can be addictions, illnesses, social issues. Yeah. Personal issues, self-confidence, like loads of things that are affecting people in many different ways. Nature's the key. Nature's the answer, mate. Yeah. Nature is the answer. Nature's medicine, and you don't have to
You see that with the cold water, don't you?
Yeah.
How much that can heal you, and it sends you into the present moment, doesn't it? You're cold, you've got to focus on your breath. It helps your nervous system, your polyvagal nerve. It settles that, which obviously that can activate your fight or flight response in your body, mate. So even just cold water's got that bigger benefit, mate, and even the breath work, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And it all comes down to our senses. Like you said, we do the sun gazing down at the beach. We're using our sight. The cold water therapy, it's touch. Yeah. It all comes down to our senses. That's what it is. That's how we wake up. It's because of our senses.
Yeah, I've got an awful lot to learn. I'm balls deep in this consciousness and this movement and bringing people together and getting involved in healing practices, and I'm investing in myself. The courses like you're doing, Paul, Journey to Man's Self-Discovery. I'm sure I'll be coming to get a little participation on the workshops you're going to be doing, Jay. I'm going to be putting things together myself. We've got Kevin Lewis. There's so many people. I'm investing in myself because I need to learn. Yeah. I need to learn to benefit myself first and foremost. But I want to help other people.
Yeah.
So the more that I know, the more knowledge that I can gain, the more people that I can help.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's a fair way to look at it. You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
like, I've only just started picking a book up again after school. Like the magic of thinking big. And I've been hooked on it. I haven't read a book since I was in school. Even in school, I'll be honest, I didn't read the books. I think I remember part and parcel of Mice and Men. George and Lenny going to 10 of rabbits. You know what I mean?
That, man, in our school, Jay.
Well, look, like I haven't got like any memories of anything else that I've read and picked up and put my time and effort and attachment to to develop my own knowledge.
Yeah.
But these books that I'm reading now, they're all self-development books. They're all books about life. They're all development, knowledgeable parcels of information. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they're fun. They're good to read. And like you're listening to people who are successful in life, putting it on paper and telling you like how they've gone about it. Professionals, do you know what I mean? And it's good. You need to be learning off these people. We're all learning.
Yeah.
We're always
learning off
mate.
each other as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the journey never ends, mate, as far as the learning goes, you know. But the thing is, mate, we're in the age of information. You know, we can go into YouTube, all these people, these great people, you know, you've got the likes of Bob Proctor, mate. You know, I listen to Eckhart Tolle, who's like a spiritual teacher a lot. You know, Dr. D. Martini's another one. I sent you a video last week, mate. You know, we can get so much information for free.
Yeah.
If we just look online, mate, you know what I mean? There's so much information. There's all these podcasts. I get a little bit addicted to the podcast, mate. I'm not going to lie. I've got a bit of an addicted personality, you know what I mean? And I'm a little bit addicted to self.
Audio watching?
I watch stuff, mate, and I listen when I'm on the road, you know what I mean? I've always got something on to try, and obviously we're always learning, mate. We're always trying to better ourselves, aren't we?
That's meant to be a good key to success, you know, listening to audio books when you're driving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it might have even been Bob Proctor who I picked that up off. There's a few people that I've been listening to, but that was one of the key points, because I know when I'm in the car with my missus and that, she's like, on Spotify, go on, put this on, put that on, and we'll sit there and just listen to people. And you know what? There's a weird thing about materialism regarding money. You know, a lot of people don't like talking about money, you know, because even I say, I'm not interested in this materialistic shit anymore. But, you know, let's not beat around the bush. We all want money. We all need money to survive and to provide for our families.
Yeah, to put food on the table.
If we've got the opportunity to take our kids on holiday and spoil them, we're going to take them. Cars might not be everyone's thing, but if you can have a half-decent car and you can afford one, go and get one. If you want a nice house and you deserve one, go and buy one.
Yeah.
We need to earn money to survive.
Yeah.
It's like...
But not in a way, mate, where we're pushing everyone else down, which is what we've got. So we're earning money, which is great. Okay, there's not a problem with earning money, mate, but we're stepping on top of everyone and wanting everyone else to fail. We're like, fucking...
That's
you know,
ego,
people
yeah,
you're putting your ego
like
and you're
that.
projecting your shit on everyone else, because as if there's a lack. There's not a lack of money, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We can all
There's an
help each other,
abundance
and
of
what
it.
you put out there, mate, will come back to you.
Yeah, there's an abundance of it. I had a big disattachment from money for ages, like 2020,
Yeah.
when all the community stuff started kicking
Yeah,
off.
let's delve into that, Mark. Let's delve into some of the community stuff you've done, mate,
Yeah,
and how that kicked off like last year, and, you know, let's move into that, mate.
Well, after the scenario with the beach and the mushrooms and me like coming over my adversities and I got like a kick up the arse of like major confidence, and the need that opened up something inside my soul where there was a desire to help people. You know, look, like I was gobsmacked that it had fixed me. I was like, wow, this has just worked. Like, honestly, coming down the beach and watching the sun and sitting under the stars and just getting out here in nature, like, and
it's free.
I'm buzzing, mate. I was alive. Do you know what I mean? So I wanted to help people, and that's when I started inviting people down the beach, and we started doing like full moon gatherings. We were just doing like normal bonfires, and we were just chilling. It was just like all started over the platform, over the Instagram, and it had a mental health attachment to it, because that's where I'd been, and that's where I'd been suffering, and I was fixed through like my own unknown actions, which I like look back on them, like pieced together, and was like, this is all it takes. It's on our doorstep. We're in the city's crying out for help. Started bringing people down the beach, and things just grew and grew. And it was like, once we all started getting more people coming on a weekly basis, we started just doing sunsets, full moon gatherings, bonfires, And that was like on the weekly. We all started talking then going, well, yeah, there's loads of us here. We're all good people. Like, we're all proper cool. We're all boss people. And we want what's best for each other. And we want to try and help society. What can we do? And that's when I met Simon Sony. I reached out to Simon Sony on the Instagram, and he was banging to the litter picking. And he was doing a 24-hour litter pick. And I jumped on board with him. And like, I wanted to bring more awareness to the litter picking, and I was like, go ahead. I said, I'm up for jumping through every postcode in the city. He's like, yeah, that's boss, that. And like, that's when the 40-day litter pick challenge started. And that was just me going through every postcode in the city and making sure I'd walk through every postcode, bringing people from them postcodes together, men, women, children, nans, granddads, you name it, with music, litter pickers, bin bags, and just cleaning the streets. And it was totally free.
Yeah.
So after that 40-day litter pick, you know, we started off with a little Bluetooth speaker like that. It was boss, mate. Used to walk around with a little Nico Wave, it was. The plod sucker, little bastards. Plod sucker off us in lockdown, mate. I was wounded, you know. Fucking took me speaker, the original, the OG. Took this little Bluetooth speaker around, strapped to me back. And it was like probably 10 or 15 of us or something to start off with. And then we went from that to a block rocker sport. It was like on wheels, and it had like it had a little handle on it. We dragged that round, and then I was like, fuck this. We need to get a bit louder. Went to my mate, have you got anything there? A flatback truck or anything? And he was like, oh, I've got a flatback truck. What for? I want to throw some DJs on it, lad, and bounce through the estates. So we threw DJs on the back of the flatback truck. And just went through a couple of the estates for like the last week of the litter pick. Made loads of noise. Brought loads of people together. And it was boss, mate. You know, there was even people coming to that on a daily basis. You know, people who'd been stuck in the working life 9 to 5 and they had nothing to look forward to through the week. And they were coming litter picking every day. There was people who come to every one of them
party,
litter picks.
Yeah.
Like a litter pick party. We made litter picking cool. Like, just put loads of boss music into it, loads of energy, smiles, happy people, vibing high, and doing positive stuff.
And inspired other people to go on further, mate.
Inspired other people. It caused a ripple effect. That after that big mission in the city and that much awareness on the social media, other groups started doing other little stuff, do you know what I mean? Which was boss, you know, it was good.
You
to
were
see.
doing the beach mornings as well, weren't you? You started like, and you're still doing it, aren't you?
The Ultimate Mornings.
That started last year, didn't it? The Ultimate Mornings.
That was
5 AM club.
That come in during the lockdown period, yeah, with Mark and Martin. And that was boss, the Ultimate Mornings down at Crosby Beach, R5.
Yeah.
And you know, we just got on there and just kicked ass with a
That was pumping, weren't it?
Yeah, it's got I think there must have been 500 or 600 people down there last year. You know, Martin and Mark are doing boss things in the city.
Yeah.
And Mark leads the circuit, Martin leads the meditation, and everyone just comes together. You know, it's boss. I just rock up now with all the speakers and all the equipment and go, well, let's have it. Do you know what I mean?
Let's party.
Let's party.
Yeah.
But it's boss. You'll have loads of good people coming. Then we done the homeless outreach. Set up an outreach team to go out feeding and clothing the homeless who were all on the streets. Done that all the way through the winter months. You know, that was already ongoing, and we partnered up with them. And there's still people who are carrying that on. Andrew Murphy, Sense of Community, and Toddy and Jen Lewis and all that. Yeah. They're all doing boss stuff, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Sense of Community are now carried the litter picking on through Bootle all over Sefton, and they're doing all the parks and painting the parks up and cleaning the streets, and that's a ripple effect. You know, they've just carried on something that worked, and it's still working. It's still helping people and bringing people together. The food banks, we've done like a little mission with the food banks. Helped I think Boris Johnson gave like a £10 allowance or something pathetic to parents in certain areas, and it was like,
fucking Boris.
The fuck are you gonna do with a tenner? Do you know what I mean? Won't get it's just embarrassing. Do you know what I mean? But loads of people come together. And, you know, we had jeeps and cars flying all over the city, dropping big hampers off to parents. And, you know, even that was emotional. We'd turn up at some doors and, you know, it was sad to see, like, the struggles and the real life struggles.
Yeah, because it's real, mate. You know, sometimes
people are going through it. Some people are struggling, mate. It's, like, really bad, you know what I mean?
Because we've got food, you know, or we're in a position where you're earning enough money, mate. You're not really, like, you know, you don't feel it sometimes. but then you're seeking other stuff. But these people that haven't got food, they're just seeking food. They're seeking the basics to survive, and it's very much alive in this city, mate. You know, there's a lot of pockets of places, isn't there?
Cold houses, mate, like with kids in, like they've got no electricity, no gas and that, you know, and
I mean, how's that even happening, mate, in this day and age?
It's really
yeah,
it's real, mate. The struggle's real, you know what I mean? And you know, them people don't just need help on a weekly basis, they need help all year round. 100%, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's another thing about doing community missions for me. You've got to sort of give your time and connect yourself to these missions, but you've got to have boundaries as well, because it can take over your life.
Yeah.
It can proper take over your life. You know, I love helping people. I love bringing people together. Sometimes it probably got to the point where a little bit too much, where I took my own focus away from my own kids and my own family and my own partner. And I was just all about the people. But you need to find your balance in life.
Yeah, that's when it can affect you again, mate. You know what I mean? And it can knock you into a dark place when you're doing too much for everyone else, and then you fall back into an old pattern of, like, you know, you can people please, can't you? You become Mr. Nice Guy. Yeah, I'm all help the community. But then you're not helping yourself in the process, you know what I mean? So you've got to make sure you look after yourself, which we always, I think all of us touch upon that a lot, don't we?
100%,
you know, the importance of looking after yourself, mate, to be able to look after everyone else is paramount to your own health.
I'll touch on thingy as well. Actually, after my depression in 2020, after the protests and stuff, I knew that I had to kickstart some thought. I think when it comes to and I sat in on a journey to man's self-discovery, I think it's something that I would have hit on with yourself personally, and also Lewis at the Inner Guru. I felt like I needed to relight my fuse, and like I knew it was coming, but I had to get myself right and in a good place, and in order for me to do that, I had to invest in myself, and I had to go and sit in on ceremonies. I had to invest in doing some self-development courses. I had to sit with myself. I had to remove myself from external energies that weren't serving me, you know, and it was hard, but I knew that where I was going was the right direction, and that was all running up to kickstarting the beach. And for me, investing in myself was the best thing that I could have done. And I always say to people now, you know, if you're going to go out and have a drink, whatever, that's cool, but if you can sacrifice one weekend going out and having a beer and keeping that money in the tin and spend that money on a self-development class or a self-development course or a couple of studio sessions in that month, go and do it. Do you know what I mean? You're going to take so much more out of giving yourself that little bit of love, that little bit of awareness, that little bit of healing, that little bit more knowledge about life, about yourself. Who are you? What purpose are you serving in life? Who do you want to be? Where are you going? What's your ambitions? What's your focus? You know, what do you aspire to be? Because the only person who's stopping you doing anything in life is you.
Starts and ends with you, mate, isn't it?
Like, and it's all good and well us doing all boss stuff and that, but we can't change anybody. That people have to change themselves. Like I said before, we can give them tools, give them guidance, help them, give them advice, share knowledge, give them a little bit of a high vibe, do you know what I mean? Cheer them up a little bit. But fundamentally, when it comes down to it, mate, it's down to the individual. Like, how badly do you want it? There's things that we learn about ourselves that we don't even know exist in here. We can, like, get that connected to ourselves. We can go back, close your eyes and go back in life. Like,
you can see certain things, mate. You know, you can do, like, I've seen you're starting like an inner child thing. You know, that's big. You're like going back to like your childhood days, mate. And, you know, we all get wounded in childhood, but actually realising why you are the way you are, that was a big thing for me, mate, was actually accepting my childhood and accepting why I was the way I was, and, you know, that I have had an addiction problem when I was younger, and that I did seek to be accepted by men in society. And, you know, it's so important, mate, what we're saying. You know, what I want to touch on now, Mark, is for me sometimes it has probably affected me maybe the past year, is I was sort of getting attached to positivity. So it's like I weren't accepting myself, mate, for me darkness. And you weren't accepting the negative, which, you know, with a mixture of both, mate. You know, we get negative emotions with humans. We've been conditioned. You know, our true nature may be love at the very core when you're born, but we've been conditioned by society. And I've probably struggled at times, mate, where I'm in a better place now, but to sort of like, you know, we get attached to this positivity banner as if everything's going to be positive, which, yeah, it's all well and good, mate, but we can sit in a positively neutral position, even when we're going through a negative situation, and maybe delve a little bit deeper sometimes, you know, like when you're doing the inner child stuff, Jay. You know what I mean? Because there's times, mate, that I've cried and, you know, you've had conversations with your own inner child and stuff like
mate,
that.
Yeah, I've done it myself.
And you've got to accept, you know, and forgive, sort of like I've had to like go through times of like forgiving your own parents, mate, you know, and forgiving my father for his struggles. But as a child, you don't really understand that, mate, do you sometimes?
No.
You know what I mean? Because you're just a child who's needing love and guidance at that point.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to always hit on that, mate, that we're always positively neutral, or we try to be, but you know, doing the work can sometimes bring things to the surface.
Yeah.
You know, like a shadow element, if you like.
And they say we grow mainly through our pain, don't we? You know, you've got to go through the pain, you've got to go through the darkness.
Exactly.
And you know, even though each one of us is in a good place right now, we can still sit with ourselves and we can delve back into a bit of a dark time that we've experienced in life, and we can sit with that and we can accept it. You've got to accept it. You can't hold on to it to the point where it pulls you back, but you need to sit with it and you need to assess it and learn from it and see how you've pulled through and see what you can do to continue moving forward. Yeah, like,
and you can navigate your experience then through the tools from what you said before, Matt. You know, you've got to have certain tools in your toolbox when these things come up, and you know what it is, and then you can navigate it through maybe meditation, sitting with it, breath work. You know, the power of the breath, mate, for me is such a huge, important factor, and it's not to be underestimated, you know what I mean? I've actually done, like, I think, mate, I'm scared to do anything over, like, 4 fucking Wim Hof breath works, like, in one, because it brings that much up to me. It charges my system. I get, like, a bit of a reaction in my body, like, oof, I'm feeling that, you know what I mean? And it can bring a little bit of, like, anxiety if I push it too hard.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where then it can have the reverse effect, where because the breath can actually take over your body, mate. You have a chemical reaction, don't you?
Of course,
of oxygen and carbon dioxide.
blast off with it, man.
You can blast off with it, mate, and you can go into like a mad
Blast people
You
straight
know
up
what I
with
mean?
that. Send you to space, man.
which is all well and good, mate, innit? But you know what I mean? like I've done it myself, mate. I've woke up I've done it on the couch and I've woke up on the floor.
Yeah, I think you're telling me that. Yeah.
I think something that we should touch on as well is for people who are new to this, you know, new to meditation and breath work and consciousness. And I know what it's like when you first start looking at this sort of thing. You know, when you're surrounded by people who aren't appealing to this, people will look at you and go, "Oh, you're into all that." Yeah. But this is something that
fucking hippie.
If you're just getting into it, you need to fucking forget what other people are saying, mate, and just do you. And when I first started getting into meditation, it was through guided ones on YouTube. I used to sit in bed and I wasn't doing none of the postures. I wasn't sitting up. I didn't have no open palms for receiving that. Like, none of that. I used to just lie down on my bed, close my eyes, comfy, put it on my little bedside table and just press play. And like, for me, I used to just follow like dead simple guided breath works and used to just close my eyes, mate. And it used to send me to sleep, do you know what I mean?
That's what we spoke about before in the
Then when I started going out in nature with it, with the speakers and with other people, and like, when you do these things as a collective, it's very, very powerful. It's important to do stuff on your own and sit with yourself 1,000,000%, but when you're creating energies and vibes and raising vibrations on a point where you need to have that ripple effect, the stuff that we do as a community, when we're bringing 500 or 600, 700 people together and we're doing breath work together, we're meditating together, we're setting an intention together, we're doing movements and embodiment practices together. Even them simple releases, like Kev does it, he'll do inhale through the nose and then he's like, let out a scream. Ah! Do you know what I mean? Listen, you know when you've got 600 people doing that together?
Well,
boom!
Powerful,
Have you listened to the videos, mate, when the people were screaming?
The beach.
When the people were screaming down the beach, mate, it was like a fucking concert.
Lad, it's crazy.
It was like a concert, mate, and the energy.
Yeah, it's a vibration,
isn't
it?
Booming.
It is.
Yeah, the energy was absolutely booming. I think it was it last week? It was just like blew my socks off, mate. You sent me the video, and I looked back on it, mate, and I was just like, wow. That is some power.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It is power, mate.
And to see people going to their edge, mate, and you know, there's people messaging you and there's people crying, and you know what I mean. It's so touching, isn't it? And warming to your heart, mate, to see that you're having that effect on people.
Yeah, it's for me now. I've give up me job in construction and all that now. So moving forward for me, you know, it is going to be about getting in the studios. And for me, it's not just about meditation and breath work. I want to create a studio space for motivation. I want people to come in of a morning, get motivated before they go to work, but make them realise that they're going to come across energies throughout the day that aren't all going to be positive. They're going to have negative energies coming at them. Recognise them, accept them, but stay on your flow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't let that negative energy ruin your day, and don't let one mistake that you make in that day ruin your day, because we all make mistakes. Like, the more mistakes you make, the more you learn, the more you grow, the more you move forward. And like these motivation and meditation classes that I've put together, you know, there's all sorts of things that I've put in that which I've learnt off every one of you. Do you know what I mean? Like when we say we all learn off each other, breathworks, meditation, embodiment, initiation circles, affirmations. It's all about focus, confidence, be the best version of yourself. You know, very much let people know you are the author of your book, and you are good enough, and you will succeed. Yeah. And you have got love in your life. You will be happy. Do you know what I mean? And these sessions, mate, like my visions when I do stuff, I just think big numbers all the time because I want to help as many people as I can. Yeah. And like, I don't know, I just have visions of getting like these motivation classes in Liverpool, 100 people every morning, just like coming and just having a vibe. Like, come and do your breath work, your meditation and all that. We'll do the movement, but win your day before you've even got to work. Do you know what I mean?
And that's the important thing.
Roll out of bed, get yourself down 45 minutes, an hour, boom. And that's you. You're set for the day, mate. Do you know what I mean? There's other classes that are going on in the city like that, are awake and shred fast, doing boss stuff, mate. Yeah. And these are all powerful people who were like, they're all for the people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I'm all for the people. I want to be on board that morning shit, mate, where it's just, let's get the city bouncing. Yeah. Let's get the city vibing. I don't know if there's like many cities who are pushing this sort of stuff as much as Liverpool. I wouldn't know. I haven't looked into it, but I just have a feeling because of the people that reach out to me on the platforms who are travelling, who say there's nothing like this going on from where I'm from, or I wish yous were closer to home, or can you bring that to us? You know,
that's exactly it, Mark. And that's how big it can be.
And it's like, and I don't like saying no, not at the minute, but I have to, because I'm like, at the minute, my focus is Liverpool. You know, like, this is me home, and I'm still growing, and I'm still evolving, and I'm still like, I'm nowhere near where I need to be to step out of Liverpool just yet. You know what I mean? But I think there will be a day where we put a concept together, and the concept's just gonna go boom, and people are gonna go, wow, what's that? And we're gonna go, right, we're going to every city in the UK. Let's go and do it. You know, I look at these motivational seminars and all that. Tony Robbins, he's boss, mate. Do you know, like, he's just filling arenas and just gets everyone boom vibing. Well, I'm sure that like we can sort of kick some vibe like that off in the UK. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Why not? It's all good. It's all in the best interest of the people. It's solid work, man. Boss.
I think, mate, like, obviously we knew each other anyway, but when you come on PACT and you start on that journey and we journey together, mate, like the energy you bring to the room, and I highlighted it to you then on week 6, like your talent, mate, is your voice. You've got such a talent for bringing people together. Like, if I looked at you, mate, you're the Scouse Tony Robbins, you know what I mean? Yeah. You've got that.
I was thinking
like,
that just
use your voice, use your fucking motivation, use that energy, because you've got such a beautiful way of doing it, mate. And you know what I mean? You just light the room up when you come in for me. And it's so special because you're talking to me now, mate, and what you're saying, I'm just like, blowing me away, mate, you know what I mean? It's magical to see, lad. Really, really is.
I think it's needed, mate.
I'm buzzing for you, mate. I absolutely am, and I'm super, super excited to see what's coming, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, do you know what? I'm an honest kid, and like, I'm not perfect, and I've got so many good visions and so many good goals, and at the same time, I need to stay disciplined. I need to be really disciplined, mate. You know, I need to get back in the gym. I need to start eating healthier. Because when, like, I'm vibing high now and I haven't trained for 10 weeks. I trained today for the first time in the Rotunda with Kev.
Yeah.
They killed me off, you know.
Yeah.
But, like, when I start getting training and all that, I'm all or nothing. This is part of my addiction. I'll diet, I'll train, I'll be strict, you know, it'll just be like teetotal and all that. But I'm ready for that sort of direction soon.
Yeah.
Because I think it's all right having a strong mental body, but you need a strong physical body as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
I think they're all tools, mate. Yeah,
all
tools. Like
the tools.
You know, the meditation and stuff like that, or the mental fitness. You know what I mean? That's staying in the mind, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is a big aspect. But obviously, we've got to do the body work as well, mate. You know, like we're training, you're doing your breath work, exercise, even punching stuff, mate. You know, doing the boxing is unbelievable training, mate. You know what I mean? The cold water stuff.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many little tools we can have there, mate, to make us feel better. Before I came here tonight, mate, I jump in the cold shower. If I've got something going on, you know what I mean? I'll always, before the beach, I'll get in the cold shower, mate, and I'll jump around the fucking room for about 5 minutes, just getting yourself. Like I've seen Tony Robbins do it, mate. He's bouncing up and down, you know what I mean? He's pumping to get
on the trampoline,
just getting pumping, you know what I mean? Just getting himself in that persona, mate, for what he's about to do.
Yeah.
I think you said the same, mate. You get yourself, before you talk, you'll get yourself, because I get a little bit nervous, mate. You get yourself all psyched up, don't you? And you're all ready to go.
I start pacing around like a little bit, me. I'll just have a little... I haven't been doing it lately on that beach, you know, because like I've got a bit more adapted to speaking to that crowd now. Yeah. So I'm ready to go a bit bigger. But no, you know, like when I'm in the house and all that, I'll have a little couple of minutes before we walk out the door. I'll be like, "Give us a minute, babe," and I'll just be upstairs and I'll just be like pacing up and down, and I'll talk to myself, be like highlight all the points that I feel are going to be important, you know, on the stage, and then I'll get on stage and just fucking never goes to plan.
Goes in the bin. Goes in the bin.
It just comes out different, man. It comes out, lad, but
you speak from the heart, mate, don't you, when you're talking, and sometimes that's the best way, you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
You speak from the heart.
I think if I was to have anything scripted, I'd fuck up big time, you know. I can't do that now.
No.
I just need to be me. I've applied for a Hot Water Comedy Club, you know.
Have you?
Yeah, man. I want to get into stand-up, yeah. Yeah, message Paul Smith and that.
Brilliant.
And Paul, like, bent me onto the details and all that, because I started writing scripts down and getting into poetry and all that years ago, because I used to find it, like, therapeutical, do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I used to write little poems and all that, write lyrics, and I started writing scripts about, like, life and having 6, like, the first script that I wrote and I touched on was, like, the fact that I had 6 kids before the age of 26 and then having a vasectomy. You know, I was being an irresponsible dad and thinking with me dick, not with me brain. And, like, I put all crazy spins on it, you know.
Can we have a joke then, Mark?
Well, it's not really, they're not, like, scripted jokes where it'd be like, why did the cat cross the road? There's no punchlines. It's just story, do you know what I mean?
You're going to be telling us funny stories when you go for the comedy club, I mean,
Yeah, they're focused. Okay. Like, I want to put my life.
Yeah.
I want to put my life out there on the stage, put spins on it where I can talk about myself and all my fuck-ups, but then look at where I am now and look at the fact I'm practicing meditation and healing people and all that. It doesn't matter how much of a fuck-up you've been or a rebel and like, and it's going to bring awareness to this, to the consciousness.
Yeah.
I want to bring awareness to the conscious aspect and the awakening, and I want to do it on a stage, but make it fun, make it vibey, but put new stuff on the stage that, like, some comedians might not have done yet, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got 100%. Things there on, I've got things in the book, lad, that I'm eager to try, do you know what I mean? Yeah. But to an audience, just to see how it pans out, do you know what I mean? Just, I'm not shy of playing with stuff. No. And I think, you know, I've got stand-up comedies on the bang in the centre of my vision board. I've done a vision board back in 2020, and I stuck all the things on there that, like, I aspired to be, and, like, events was all over there, global events, things for me kids. The sun was on there, and it was mad that I put the sun on there, just 2 big pictures of the sun, and then I got into sun gazing and all that. And the sun's probably representing a bit of sunshine as well, you know, like the ability to take the kids away and enjoy, like, nice holidays and stuff. Yeah. Healthy food. I had, like, loads of little quotations on there. Laughter's the medicine, positivity's the key. Yeah. There's, like, little quotes about energy and that. And it's at the end of my bed. So when I wake up in the morning, like, I'll sit on the end of the bed and I'll just look at the board and I'm like, I need to do something with this comedy thing, lad. You know what I mean? It's eating me up. And I've been like wanting to do it for ages. So yeah, I'm going to start. I'm going to just wait till they hit me with a date and I'll just fly in and see how it goes. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think if I can put my energy on there and crack a few jokes, I don't think the meditation crowd's the right crowd
You're not going to get them, are you, mate?
to try some of the stuff
tough
I'm going to
cookie
talk
sometimes.
about. You know what I mean? It's not the right people.
Yeah.
But I don't say the right people, like, but there's kids in that there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
Yeah. So Mark, what can we expect then apart from the comedy? What's the plan then for the next 6 to 12 months with you then, brother?
For me, mate, it's going to be, my main focus is going to be the motivational classes, which we've touched up on. Touch wood, I've been in touch with Mark Onamission, so there's going to be a Sunday sessions coming in a week, which is all going to be the jungle breathwork vibe, high energy, motivation, positive movement. End your week on a high note, set yourself up for your next week, in the flow, just fully prepared. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's like, you're putting your eggs in 2 baskets there. You're finishing your week off on a positive aspect and setting yourself up for the next week.
Yeah.
And you've done some work. These classes are only an hour long. By the time we've done our initiations and all set our intentions and done our affirmations and done our practices, it's going to be in and out, you know what I mean? In and out, self-love, giving yourself a little bit of time away from the external, and boom, just high energy. So that's the motivation meditation classes, the Jungle Beach breathwork away. Got the retreat starting on Bank Holiday August, which is coming up, which is out towards Ormskirk, which is an all-inclusive package that we're doing for 3 days. Kev's involved, Lewis is involved, Jay Welby, me missus, might even be able to speak to you about something there because we haven't done the schedule yet. And it's in a few days. So that will be getting started. And then we've got the Conscious Unity Festival in September in the Bomdog Church.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah.
We're all involved in that, aren't we? We're all
yeah.
doing that. So that's a good thing for that's about bringing everyone together in the city who's doing good stuff. Not just with the consciousness, but, helping the city and helping the younger generation move forward and progress. But I'm just off the cuff, mate. I would like to get certain practices in place on monthly bases, 2 monthly bases, do collaborations with as many people as I can. Because, like I said before, we all bring something to the table. There's collaborations forever and a day. If we can nail something and it works,
we can all work together, mate.
We can work together. We can help each other. We can push each other. We can bring people to each other for different things. Like if people need help in a certain aspect of their issues or their problems, and we feel like you might be more suited to it, or you might be more suited to it, or I'll be more suited. Like anyone can reach out.
Yeah.
Because we know that many people now who are doing all this. It's just like, go and see my man there. He'll fix you up straight away. Do you know what I mean? He's been there. He's been exactly where you are. Been through it. Deals with people every day. Go and see him. So there's only so many hours in a day we can actually independently do stuff. And I'm sure we're all going to be up the wall helping people. So it's good. Like it's good to see everyone growing organically.
Yeah, it's lovely, mate.
It's boss.
So obviously we're coming to the end now. So
I don't want it to end. Stay all night.
It's been great talking to you, mate. I just want you to, let's just feel into, have you got any ending words, mate? Have you got a message for anyone who might be struggling? How do you want to wrap it up, brother?
Anyone who is struggling, there's multiple platforms. Social media is a great tool if it's used correctly. And you don't have to look far. There's the On a Mission MC platform, Awaken Souls events, Don't Walk in Silence, PACT Mantality yourself, The Inner Guru, Kev the Shaman, who am I missing? Martin Bone, Awake Liverpool. I'll just shout everyone out, mate, from the city who's doing boss stuff. Reach out. All these platforms are here, and they're here for a purpose. They're all here to provide help for everyone's struggles. And you're not alone. You might be going through a dark time right now, but they don't last forever. You need to just keep your chin up, dig deep, reach out. Reaching out is the best thing you'll ever do. And you're fortunate enough now that there's that many people active in Liverpool doing stuff to provide these things, these tools and knowledge to help you get out of your dark place. Reach out.
Reach out.
Yeah, reach out.
Lovely, brother.
Don't
Powerful,
stay on
mate.
the couch.
Yeah,
reach out,
super
man.
powerful, mate.
And I'm blessed to have the invite, by the way. Like I said before, I turned quite a few podcasts down, but I'm vibing high now. I'm staying on this vibing high.
Thank you,
mate.
brother.
Yeah, much love for you.
you. Yeah, it's been a pleasure having you on.
Look forward to your future.
Jay, have you got any words to finish with,
No,
mate?
mate,
or
just
are you
like
good?
just the end. What Mark finished with there is very powerful,
Yeah.
mate. Hit me right there, mate.
Yeah, lovely,
Fat powerful
brother.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, Mark. Thanks
What
a
up?
lot, brother. Okay, I'll be seeing you very soon anyway, won't I?
Definitely,
Yeah.
100%.
But superb. We all done then, fellas?
Yeah, mate.
Right,
Nice
thanks
one,
for
Mark.
tuning in, everyone. And I'll see you all again very soon. Yes,
Thank you.
brother.
Peace out. Peace out.